Hi, in this video we will continue to work on the simple lookups, and as you might remember, in our previous video we set up a basic user and profile model where we will be looking up the profile information from the profile model and joining the user and the profile information together in our responses. In this video we will continue working on these models, but in this case we will be running some queries where we will be using the looked up field values in our queries. If you go back to our services, I just would like to show you something for your information. Typically, whenever there is a select or filter query in one of the database nodes, then this means that in that node you can also use lookups. For example, delete multi-objects by query. This is a node where you specify a query to select objects to delete in the database. Since this is a select query associated with this node, you can also use lookup fields in your queries. Similarly, get single object by query. For example, another example, there is a query. In that case, you can also use the lookup fields. Another one, for example, create object iterator. This is another one. You can also use the lookup fields in your queries. What we will be doing is the following. As you might remember, if I go back to the data structure, if I get the list of the users, we set the profile information for John, but we didn't set the profile information for Mary. Let's set the profile information for Mary, also populate that information. So for gender, we will be having the female, and for birth date, we will be 1995 as the birth year. Okay. And for occupation, let's assume that Mary is a software developer. If I run this thing, it's successfully updated. If I go back to here, if I fetch the data, as you can see, the profile information is also looked up for Mary, and we get the information. What happens if you would like to get the list of users filtered by occupation? Okay, our simple service like the get users basically fetches all the users without any kind of filter. Let's create another endpoint, get list of users by occupation. Okay, and this will be pointing to the users. The service will be get list of users by occupation. Okay, if I try to create this one, AutoGIC will raise an error because this path method and path combination is already in use. So I need to put here something unique. Okay, then this will work. Let's go to the service definition for this one. So what we will be doing, we will be using the get multi-objects by query node to get the list of users by a specific job. We will be querying the users. Then what will be our select query? We will be selecting the users with a specific occupation. The occupation information is stored in the profile, but I cannot access profile information. If I look to this model, I cannot. So what I need to do, first I need to do a lookup. Okay, if I go here, if I do a simple lookup to profile, if I go back to the select query right now I can access the profile information. So occupation will be equal to something. Okay, but before doing that one, let's add the occupation as a query string parameter to our service. Go back to here, then occupation will be equal to the input object query string parameter occupation. Okay, then by this way we will be filtering the users by the occupation, and as a response we will returning back a success response. Then if I connect to this one, then let's go back to our services. Okay, but this is the new endpoint. Let's put here student. This should return only John. Okay, as you can see, this returned John. Let's put here developer. This should only return Mary. Let's add some new user, right? Let's put here Bruce. Okay, get same password for Bruce, get users. Okay, so we've got the ID for you, Bruce. Let's put here some information. Male, Bruce is also, let's say 19. Bruce is also developer. Okay, if I get the users, list of the users, I can also see that there are 2 developers and 1 student. If I go back to here, if I fetch this thing, I should have 2 records like Mary and Bruce. yeah, as you can see, we've got the Mary and Bruce returned as a response to our query endpoint. Okay, I mean, lookups can be quite powerful, right? I mean, you can use them merging the data in your responses. I mean, you can merge data from another model and return to merged data. And what you can also do is you can also use the lookups, looked up fields in your select queries or filter queries. That's it for now. Thanks a lot. I hope that helps.